And welcome back, everybody, to another selection, second selection of the second season. I'm gonna be here with Immaculator. How you doing?
I'm doing fine. What's up, people?
Yeah, no, that just still makes me grin. I don't. But yeah, we're in for a bit of a treat today. Obviously, we have the second selection. We have 4 teams that are playing today. 2 of them are going to make their way into the final selection, and we're going to start off with a game already being the Kneecappers against Norms Friday or something. That is not me not knowing their name. That's genuinely just their name, Norms Friday or something. So we'll see how they're going to be doing this week as well. We have a little bit of a more normal map pool, I'd say. Last week we were a bit more radical with it. This week we have Night Market into Gates into Atlab. So teams should be a bit more familiar with it as we're now loading into the first game, being Night Market. Hey Mac, we don't know the Awakenings, but do you have any kind of picks you're just kind of wanting to see?
The usual suspects. Honestly, just some nice cooldown on primary, some nice damage on or range on secondary. Those sound nice, you know. Some super surging.
Some super surging could be a bit funny, but I kind of also don't hope that is the case, because it just kind of skews it so far usually, and it allows a lot of funny pick that I don't really want. So we'll see.
I mean, honestly, Night Market. I could also just would like to see Unga Bunga comp. Just go full damage. Just go get people on the edge. Just go Unga Bunga and enjoy. Even if you don't win, you enjoyed the game, which is the most important thing, honestly.
Yeah, most definitely. But we'll see. We did get our picks in, being obviously the Kaizen Juno against Drekastel Dubu. So I feel like pretty standardized for a map like this. So we'll see how they're actually going to be performing in it, as well as we have a Siege Machine Twin Drive start and 4 Siege Machine pickups. That is not something I would have expected going into this game.
I am surprised. However, honestly, I kind of can understand it. I think it's just really good. Hey, it's super forward. I did not realize.
I mean, listen, that's just how it works. Also, I'm just gonna be on live debugging a little bit. Could you up your mic a little bit if possible?
Sure.
But as I'm gonna continue the app about it, we have a barrier take already from the side of Norm's Friday. Obviously, we're on a Night Market, right? We're on a 2 barrier map, so we'll have that second barrier. That's gonna be a bit more of a difficult part to be getting through, especially if the goalie from Kneecappers are gonna do well. They're also in tandem with their team names, as we're getting a bit of a jump. Here's why this could be. I might be having a bad internet day, so we'll hope that's not the case. But the attacks on both sides are still very much going, as both are down to 1 barrier and both are trying to find themselves in a winning game situation here. So energy bars are being built up as well, though, which could result in a few funny plays here. The barrier does finally drop now on General Umbre, and not able to hold on to that one anymore. It's not so easy. He gets the course stopped, but the angle is found by the Kneecap vendor. Really nice goal there, and puts the Kneecappers up by 1.
Perfect flip. Just perfectly goes around or through the enemies. Gets the first goal, and honestly, kind of the most important goal. Because if you get the first goal in the first set, you're always a bit less on edge, I would say.
Yeah, most definitely, because it gives you just that initial momentum, right? To get going. That one failsafe as well, right? You have the advantage. You can play off of it now, but by no means can you fully lean back, right? Because if you give the enemy a bit too much, they can easily just get their way back, even it out, or even take an advantage for their own. And we see it right now as Norms Friday are taking a second barrier there, and the Double uses the flip there as well. A little bit of a dribble on the edge there, almost going in. Thiefton there with the flip, though, will secure it. Kneecap Factory not in position to properly answer it. And yeah, that's the evening out that we're talking about, right? But not a lot of energy available for the side of Norm's Friday anymore.
Yeah, you kind of like to see that the equalization, but then again, you look at the energy bars and you see a whole lot of nothing.
I mean, what can he do? You are a bit lucky though, because you're not playing into something like a Julie, so you don't necessarily have to be that wary around the edge, but you still need to be wary due to damage output, because Centaur Juno, they will do a lot of damage to you, even just passively. And we saw that there, right? Norms was down to half HP pretty often there. Now, was able to recover a lot of HP by just existing, but that can just change very fast again, depending on the situation. As the second barrier now does find a drop as well, Centauro there finding that angle. Really well executed.
Nice to Boo wall, almost gets 2 barriers. A little bit of a miss strike, but that happens. We've all been there.
Ooh, we've also been
nice
all been
KO.
off the map. Super taken out by Centauro. Centauro has a flip available now as well. He doesn't want to use it, but maybe they're going to be a bit greedy with it. Flip doesn't hit the core actually, and the red core coming out from the piercing shot, really well executed. But the Borg flick actually from Zen coming out there. General Ombre not able to respond to that. The only way you can really defend that is just shotgunning it at the right time. And if you don't have that timing down, it's a bit rough to play against.
Or alternatively, hope for the enemy to not make it.
Hope for enemy failure. I mean, it's not fully wrong, I guess. Although usually not very reliable. But we'll see. Again, both barriers down, or both down to 1 barrier. That's just kind of the story of double barrier maps. Night Market usually holds itself a bit longer, but again, not gonna have to overcomplicate things for yourself, as the flip from Thieftain also doesn't find anything. Kneecap Vendor and Factory both will have their flip available soon, so maybe they can make a push for it to take the second barrier off of General Ombre and put themselves in a winning situation and find themselves even a set, but no, flip goes out, and it doesn't really find anything, as now the only person with, or the only 2 people with flip on the board are both of the goalies, so surely the defense is not going to be falling anytime soon from both of them.
Yeah, having that that safety net of the core flip always is something nice as a goalie, I would assume. I don't play goalie myself, but I've heard only good things.
Well, yeah, it just allows you to have like that one panic button and that little bit of extra reach as well, which sometimes can be the difference maker, which helps a lot. But it didn't help enough this time around, as both of them used the flip, but not so easy. Found the angle actually. Vendor there not being able to move up in time and cover that fully, which not very fortunate if you're on the side of the kneecappers. But we find ourselves in a 0.5 already, and I feel like that's kind of the style of Night Market as well. It's usually a bit more drawn out, simply just because the games, like, it's just such an even map and a control heavy map as well. And I think people have started to adjust to it a little bit, have figured out how to play it, which makes it a little bit more difficult to punish mistakes and punish positionings properly, as not so easy. It does get 1 barrier there, but again, you need to get that second one to actually make it count.
Yeah, I was about to say Estelle is getting pretty low. I don't think that's more important anymore. Really nice counter to the flip there from Dubu with a special, but also getting pretty low themselves.
Ooh.
He's staggered now. I don't know if Zen maybe has special. I don't think so. Might be wrong. Is back to stagger now, so Estelle just scores.
Yeah, the strike was found. Sometimes, although it does feel a bit weird looking at it, because that, like, the barrage was there, right? It's just a bit unlucky, the angle. The barrage was just a little bit too far up, so it goes through the Kai there, as they're going to be rewarded with their draft. And Estelle here kind of has a lot of solid choices. Stacks and Stacks, Peak Performance, 1-2 Punch, all not bad. Stinger, also not a bad pickup. But that leaves Juno to have 1-2 Punch. Opts for the Peak Performance, though, as the 1-2 Punch gets denied off of Zentaro. So, looking like the side of Norm's Friday are looking to play a bit more on the damage side, because they're getting themselves a Stinger and a 1-2 Punch. When you still have Stacks and Peak Performance open on a map like Night Market, it kind of tells that story of like, hey, we're looking to take you out of the game, we're trying to win off of man advantages, which is nice when it works, and it evidently does work, as the Tofu Fortress will find a KO there, actually. The only downside is, if it doesn't work, you're looking at a bit of a rough spot, because now you have an Awakening that doesn't really help you as much as it would need to.
Yeah. I mean, the Adrenaline Rush wasn't picked up, so it's not as they're not as dependent on KOs as if they would have taken it. But then again, at the same time, Juno picking up that peak performance also gives Juno the little bit more survivability, even if it's just a little bit, right? The damage from 1-2 and Stinger. Obviously, Stinger does take percentage stagger, but then again, like, you just have more stagger to work with in general. I think that's still more defensive on the Juno, who is already hard to kill, honestly.
Well, yeah, especially if your finisher is a Dubu, right? Dubu needs to find himself in a proper position to actually get these Tofu Fortresses out. But what he can also do is just use a flip by Thiefden there, actually. A beautiful KO, which gives a power play to the side of Norm's Friday. They want to walk up now and actually find the goal, and they will, as the Corp finds its way past their the defense of the Kneecappers. Not so easy. Again, finding another goal for their team, and also really close to a flip, which, together with being a Dubu, if you find yourself in the proper position, you can almost guarantee yourself a double barrier with funny little somersaults. So we'll see if that comes into play as one already drops.
Ooh. Oh, gets KO'd by the Giga Blast. Estelle trying to get the barrier in a 2v1 or 3v1 situation in that case. Dubu respawned now.
Ooh, the somersault, it almost finds the Zentaros. Somehow that barrier didn't drop either, by the way. I felt like that was going to go in, but no. Gets offended well by the side of General Umbre. It's not so easy. He'll now walk up with the Tofu Fortress. Will get the core down to the kneecap vendor, though, which is going to allow them to hold on to the barrier for now. Strike Wars coming in now. The piercing shot not finding the core nor the barrier, as the Kai is going to get a bit low, but is going to be able to pick up an orb there for themselves. And both teams just kind of scrambling to get the core into an attacking position on the enemy barrier, but was not really able to do so in a nice position. It's likely just going to have to come down to an attack like that again that almost again finds it, but no. The strike from General Umbre is going to be good enough to actually hold on to that, as we're going back into a more neutral state of play.
Yeah, it is really hard sometimes to get through both of these teams. Nice fortress there from Dubu, opening up the goal. Potential for a fast score now as well to get that match point with the flip.
Oh!
Nice,
whether intended or not, a really nice play, really nice pass. You got to be able to see those as well, right?
So as long as it works, nobody needs to know that you didn't want to do it like that.
You just gotta claim it for yourself, you know. Say that he wanted it to work that way, and then it usually goes from there. But we go back into another attack now for the side of Norm's Friday, and it looks like they're finding themselves a little bit more. They're playing a lot more on the side of the Kneecappers than the Kneecappers are playing on their side, which kind of gives them that advantage, and it kind of explains as well why they currently have a 2-0 lead in terms of points. And that's simply just because they're continuously attacking. General Umbre doesn't have to do a lot on the defensive end because Thiefden and Not So Easy are holding it down pretty well in that midfield area, not allowing the core to really get close to General Umbre often. So we'll have to see as the Dubu self-passing play is going to come out there. The barrier's still staying alive though. Kneecap Factory in place to react appropriately as the bounces are coming back and forth. The second barrier does drop. Dubu has a flip here, and with a flip, can he find the score? Almost finds the timing on Kneecap Vendor there, but Kneecap Vendor was patient enough. The Tofu Fortress trying to take out the Kai, and the Kai's gonna be low now, down to a stagger actually. Needs to be a bit careful. So Giga Blast sends it back. Flip has to come out. Another flip being answered by General Umbre, and the KO gets found by Not So Easy. Dubu now up front, and Kneecap Vendor not able to respond to that positioning. A 2-0 lead now for the side of Norm's Friday in terms of sets, and now they're one set away from starting off the Swiss stage with a 1-0. Rewarded with a draft here as well. Anything that's popping out to you? I'm seeing a spark of agility, and Not So Easy has leadership, so I'm curious if they're going to go for it, or if it's just going to be fight or flight, or, I mean, even size.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, Zentaro kind of wants to scale with the sparks after the first set. All sparks are out now. So that plan kind of gone. Probably picking up the... Yeah, especially picking up Spec. Spark was open, but I see the vision, you know? You've been struggling to get the ball out of your own half. Sometimes Zentaro ult just confuses people, you know? I'm not going to name names, but I know people that have over 200,000 hours in this game and still don't know how Zentaro ult works.
200,000, holy. Anyways.
2000. 2000.
I don't even know if that's possible. But anyways,
Better not be.
we have the attack going now as again a barrier does drop General Ombre there under the car, also trying to walk up and get himself involved as the Dubu Somersault will actually find the KO there. A team that picked up some damage awakenings at the start are actually finding a lot more KOs than I would have anticipated them to, and that's mainly just due to Not So Easy playing this Dubu bits very smart as well, playing these edge threats really well. As again, of course, gonna find its way into the hands of General Ombre, but not really into a position where they're threatened to lose a barrier yet. Juno Blubble will secure one, but again, to do barrier map, you need to get both to really get into an advantageous situation here, and as of right now, it's not looking like General Ombre is gonna do that. Never mind, Caster cursed it. As a barrier does drop, the Tofu Fortress will lock up that core in the top there, but it finds its way through and out of that situation, and unfortunately General Ombre did not have a shotgun there, and the Molten Bolt came out a little bit late. Goal for the side of the kneecappers.
Yeah, I like what I'm seeing right now. The main issue I feel like against the team comp from Norms is if you're in your own half as kneecappers, it is really hard to get out, right? You have on the backline, you have a Drakkar that can just shotgun or Molten Bolt. You have a Dubu that can just Fortress. You have a Nostal with really big range, and what I'm seeing right now in this set, right, is that they're a lot more on the enemy half, and then it's a lot easier to play against these characters, right? Because if you're always stuck in your own half, it's hard to get out. But if you're not in your own half, it is hard for them also to get like good ability usage out of their, like the wall, for example, right? You just use it defensively. That doesn't bring you goals, and Dubu isn't that good at forcing. If you don't have Somersault or Woe up.
Yeah, most definitely. The only thing you have left at that point is Logan. That's essentially I'll only work if you just strike it directly into me type of ability. So we'll have to see if that's going to come into play. But it does look like the kneecaps are finding themselves a little bit more here, and that's mainly just due to being able to do a lot more damage. Thiefton is having a tough time staying alive, but not having a tough time finding angles. That's a piercing shot there through the middle will actually catch the core, and the kneecap is not able to respond to that speed that Estelle has. Of course, Estelle, in overtime, just incredibly lethal.
Yeah, I mean, just looking at what's happening as well. They still have a lot of damage on their side, right? They don't get to use it at the. Ooh, unfortunate.
Yeah, it's a bit unlucky because it's like one of those strikes where I think it was a miscommunication of like Kneecap Factory and Zentaro both trying to like thinking the other one has it, and then Not So Easy gets a strike in, and now Normus Friday are finding themselves one goal away from just taking the first game as a whole. So let's see how that pans out. But the Kneecappers definitely not giving up yet as they immediately get both barriers off of General Ombre there. But again, the difficulty is going to be to actually find the goal before you get forced out yourself, because Thiefton and Not So Easy are just playing it really smartly up front at creating that pressure and making it difficult to handle it properly. Kneecap Factory trying to force swap sides there, but Thiefton there first, as now Not So Easy will almost get the second barrier there as well. A good Centauro will actually hold that up. Centauro has a flip available as well, will use it immediately, but that's almost going in! General Ombre reading that top angle there that wasn't existent, as now the attack is still being built. Vendor and Centauro trying to find the core pass, but they just can't get it past this three-man defense from the side of Normus Friday. Not So Easy, he gets the somersault and the barrier. Oh, what the?
Oh!
That's hits. How did that hit?
The log hitbox. I can.
Like this. How did that hit? Okay, well, Normus Friday find themselves a game 1 victory, and with that, move one step closer to making it into the final selection. Obviously, you need to find these log passes first, but yeah, I didn't think that was gonna hit, personally.
I thought the log was outside of the like the area, but I guess it was not.
Yeah.
Guess it was still in.
Guess it was still in. But yeah, I mean, obviously that's the first game. We're gonna be looking at 3 Swiss stage games this time around. Norms Friday starting off strong. Kneecappers having a decent performance here, but not going away with the win here, unfortunately for themselves. As we're gonna go into a small little intermission to set up the next game. Also gonna check if I can maybe do something about those packets that are being lost. So we'll be just right back. Do not go anywhere, and in a bit. And we are back. Hello, we're already starting to get into game because we are going to be on the round 2. Gates of Obscura, both the 1-0 teams, Keep the Flip and Norm's Friday going up against each other now. Winner of this game is going to put themselves in a situation where they can just, well, no, not put themselves in a situation, they just put themselves into bracket stage. And with the amount of team signups that we do have today, getting into the bracket stage is likely going to be more than enough already to make it into the final selection. So we do have a Gates of Obscura game for this though, so we'll see how it's gonna go as we have a few interesting hovers. We'll see if that comes into play. I don't want to see a Kazan. I don't like that character. I don't know if you have any hard feelings about it. I'm not a fan personally.
My competitive history shows that I have had 3 goalies. All of those 3 goalies were Kazan 1-tricks before going competitive. Do you really think I have any power to say I don't like Kazan?
Yeah. I mean, listen, no one's stopping you, you know, no one's your boss, so
I couldn't tell you if I like Kazan or not, because we never got to play against it. Because either it was picked by my goalie or it was banned by the enemy team.
Yeah, no, that's valid. That's valid. But I mean, I'm sure you had a Kazan time before that, right? Like, your entire competitive history wasn't just that, but
yeah, no, but I don't really. When the time before that, Kazan was not a character, luckily.
Listen, I mean, someone that I teamed with would tend to disagree, but anyways, a lot of yapping back and forth. We're on Gates of Obscura. We're on Build Different Deadeye. Interesting pickup. As General Umbre is playing, it's a Juliet goalie with strike shot. Someone's been watching a bit much USL and probably the wrong games. Interesting pickup.
The right games.
I mean, up to the individual. I do think it genuinely, like, call me crazy, I don't think it's an incredibly terrible pick in maps where you can force corner KOs and make it difficult for the enemy to contest that corner area. I think Gates of Obscura is a bit too far away though, so we'll see how it's gonna go and be played out. But as of right now, actually, it's not really mattering that much because Not So Easy just finds the double barrier and gets the attack going. General Umbre holding on that defense for now. That Deadeye Finny coming through. Flip coming out from Julie. Redirect from Not So Easy. Not finding the goal though, as we're now finding ourselves again in an attack and almost a somersault KO, but no. Holding on to dear life is the Kazan there. The Juliet dash coming through, and that's probably the last thing you're expecting from enemy goalie. The Mako will still hold on to the defense here. We'll see if the score is going to be found out. Teidus, obviously, and the entirety of Keep the Flip last week in the first selection, getting really close to qualifying themselves, falling short in the end in that last game in bracket stage and not making it through. So they're here for redemption. They're here to find themselves in that final selection, and that is, on a personal level, I hate that interaction. I hate that so much. So for people that don't know, somersaults, and just like Vice Secondary, it just takes the core away and not interactable from anyone or anything for a second. So what happened there is Not So Easy somersaulted, and Teidus unfortunately flipped exactly at that moment, and then the flip doesn't hit the core. Yeah, you know what? You deserve that one.
I do think our casters might be a little bit biased, guys.
Nah, never.
Never.
But we'll see. There's a decent amount of energy missing from the side of the Keep the Flip here, so we'll see if that's going to come into play, because again, they don't have evades near edges, and with Finny, who can just damage dump quite heavily and Not So Easy on the Dubu pickup, there are angles of just like straight up KOing them, right? You can see it on Silvio right now, down to a stagger, almost gets a KO, Not So Easy, but the evade will come out. Needed to evade that Finny primary, as Kazan actually does find the KO there. Now back on the attack.
I saw the vision. There was still the log lying. I saw the vision of flipping into the corner and then the log getting like the score. I saw it. I respect it. However,
yeah,
Kazan.
The crooked leverage there being a bit too efficient, getting it away from General Umbre and making sure there's no core interaction at that point. But we'll see how it's gonna play out here. Again, I feel like both sides go for a more interesting team comp, but if it works for both of them, I can't hate on it, right? The Tofu Fortress there finds one barrier, and not so easy, finds the second one as well, as the Shu is gonna try to find that KO. Actually, Silvio tries to find it, but doesn't. As now, again, the attack is live. Teydus does get that strikeout, and that crucial one it is as well. The self-dribble will get it past Teydus, though. Well executed by Not So Easy, and puts them 2-1 up in this first set.
Dubu.
I think that's what Not So Easy would agree with, yeah. It's just
Insanity. Dubu. Looking at that offensive pressure, second time we see the Dubu forward from him. Insane.
I mean, who knows? Maybe it could be. It could be. I feel like on not even could be on Demon not Demon Skates. I do genuinely believe it is a valid forward pickup. It's just not as optimal as others. But again, it has its place, right? And to show you here, very much not liking that dude, but getting a lot of damage out. We'll also now find almost that confirmed the dash actually completely covering the crooked leverage there. Not allowing the Shuyu to actually get that core through, because it will go back and forth through the portal, both sides trying to get it out of their own pocket there. Again, damage being dumped, and I feel like that's where Keep the Flip has the advantage in this game. If they find themselves enough good damage awakenings, they will just straight up start to kill the side of Norm's Friday. They're going to be very heavily scaling on that front, and Thiefton, of course, on the Finny will also do a lot of damage, but that's kind of it for range damage. All the other damage is going to come through the Dubu and the Julie in close range, which is going to be a bit more difficult to actually dish out.
I mean, there's already a lot of damage happening from both sides, in my opinion. Ooh. Nice one.
Yeah, we'll see. The 3v2 attack still very much not finding the goal, though. General Umbre finds the strike interactions there. Sushiyu is not able to get it through, but again, Core still very firmly in their half. The Juliet ultimate catching it last second there. It's not so easy. Will walk up, and that Tofu Fortress is just so effective up front here, but Teydus holds on to one barrier for now. Second one does fall, actually, with the somersault. These two interactions are just so tricky to really wrap your head around, and unfortunately, the strike not reaching for either of them, as Norm's Friday will find themselves a set victory here. And the Juliet first pick, honestly, what do you want here even? You probably just want size, no? 3 sparks in this draft as well. It's a bit tough. Damn. I feel like this is actually very, very bad for Norm's Friday, because they get one probably solid awakening, but you get Estelle Kazan picking right after, and your first pick is a Julie who probably doesn't care that much about her awakening, so I think this is pretty rough, actually.
Winning set, losing draft, insane combo.
Just hidden ability. As a Stinger finds its way down to Finny. The explosive entrance on Not So Easy could be quite a lethal thing as well. It also can set up for quite a few funny situations, because dash range on Dubu Somersault, I feel like, is just always going to be looking funny. I don't think there's any way around that, as Kazan takes a lot of damage here, actually, from the Finny and the Dubu together. The evade will secure the orb, but not out of stagger just yet, as the damage will come through a little bit more. We get a stagger block on Kazan as well, so damage being dumped into the Dubu now. The barrier's going down again, and even though the first set victory belongs to the Norm's Friday, I feel like Keep the Flip are a bit more coordinated in this game, and finding their patterns, finding their attacks, and finding KOs like that as well. It's just about the efficiency of actually making good use of those KOs and finding the goals that they're kind of struggling with right now.
You can get all of the KOs, but if you don't get any goals, you still lose.
Oh, I don't like that. The ultimate from Julie would be like the tool to kind of wall off the enemy, right? You're saying, oh cool, you're not going through me, I'm just catching core, and that's gonna go flying away from this. Kazan just saying, you know what, actually I don't agree with that, and just crooked leveraging that core out. Can't feel nice. But again, to show you, just really showing us why this Kazan can be such a strong pickup here, as they're finding barriers and goals one after the other. Thiefton also putting down into stagger now. Does have evades, haven't used any of them yet. Potentially just greeting for a flip here. We'll see if they're going to get punished for it though, because they have to flip now, but you want to be using it at the right time and not just use it as an evade. Actually coming out and getting blocked by the Kazan as well there. As of course gonna go back into the half of Keep the Flip, and the explosive entrance somersault coming through there, not necessarily anticipating all of that damage output that's going to be found there. Damage is going to be continued to be dumped into the Shui here as well, as Finny just has free reign to do so, but the Vicious Vambrace just puts him down to full HP again. And yeah, that's just a funny gear when you have the right circumstances for it.
Yeah, also something that I noticed when... There's these Dubu rolls, man! No, the thing is, Dubu KO on Estelle also made the entire energy bar disappear. She almost had flip, so really good KO there. We had a lot of things happening, so I couldn't say it then. Already staggered again, about to die, maybe. Actually not.
Oh. Clinical execution there, actually. Just waiting it out a little bit, making sure, taking advantage of the fact that the defensive side from Norm's Friday weren't really interacting with the core as much as they needed to. And then finds that top angle there. Now, again, a 0.5 was the last set, and now we're 2-0 up for the side of Keep the Flip. And they're not looking to replicate what happened last time around and get another 0.5 in favor of Norm's Friday. They're going to try to get it out now as Somersault again finds another victim. This Tuba just being so strong on these edges when you let him have these awakenings. As now both sides are down to one barrier. Almost the second barrier sniped there by Teidus, but doesn't find it. Silvio gets back onto the field now, getting involved almost immediately there, but again, the defense from both goalies are holding on, and now we're going back to that all-familiar 1v1 between Dubu and Mako. Actually, more a 1v3, actually, as the entirety of Keep the Flip is going to be on that goalie barrier, but they're defending it successfully. Kazan taking a lot of damage, especially from that Stinger as well now. It's going to look for some either damage dump or core interaction to get some of that HP back using Vicious Vambrace.
Finicard getting the KO on Kazan here. Dubu being Dubu and getting the barrier.
Ooh, almost. Almost. It was enough. And the snipe comes through as well on both the KO and the barrier there. Or the core, as the barrier does get dropped now as well. Keep the Flip now positioning themselves quite strongly here and quite solidly to potentially get this goal going. They have a flip on Teidus as well, and they don't want to be wasting it, as the Crooked Leverage will get that mix-up on General Ombre. Obviously, Julie not having any kind of range to work with. That's why there's a strike shot on her as well. Whether I agree or not is a different question, but that strike shot missing obviously does not help that situation, and now they set victory for Keep the Flip. And fortunately for them, you have quite a few decent choices here. You have Team Player and Aerials, both great pickups for Namako. You go for the Team Player, which is going to help, again, just build that pressure on enemies. Aerials, do how much are we rolling? Is it ever something?
Cross-continental Dubu incoming.
Dubu's going to start somersaulting for kickoff.
Important question.
Yeah?
Important question, is Adrenaline Rush still in?
I believe it's still in, yeah.
Imagine Twin Drive Adrenaline Rush with this. just permanently all the way across.
I think Super Surge is still in as well, by the way. So there's a potential for a Triple Dash Awakening Dubu, but as of right now, I feel like the general draft victory there still does belong to the side of Keep the Flip. The Tofu Fortress coming through, obviously such an efficient ability if you can get yourself into a position, and not so easy has been doing that successfully. But now the play of the team player is going to be coming out, because that will just send the core flying to the enemy half pretty fast, as the barrier does in the end drop though, but a KO being found by the Shuyu just being so good with these open primaries on Kazan at threatening these edge KOs. People are usually not very perceptive to those, as the barriers are down, the power play into dash goes the wrong direction. The Shuyu, just calm and collected, notices that General Ombre is acting a bit too early there and just puts it in.
It always looks funny if you go a 50-50, you get the wrong side, and then you're just dashing or something. You know, it just you didn't do the right thing, but like it looks funny, okay?
I mean, there's no way to avoid it at times, as again, damage finds its way onto the Shuyu there, but fortunately for him, again, the Vicious Vambrace is going to just heal it up over time, and Teidus are there as well, holding on to that defense so well. Just sending that core away almost immediately. Clutch flip coming through from Silvio there as well, to actually get the attack, the defense, and get an attack going, and the angle it's found by the Shuyu there, actually. Neither Thieftain or General Umbre being able to position themselves for properly for it. As they are now, yet again, just one goal away from finding a set victory, and Keep the Flip just playing a lot more convincingly recently.
Win first set, get a really bad draft, lose these other 2 sets 3-0. I hope that's not what's happening.
I mean, it's kind of looking like it right now. The somersault there coming through to stop that almost immediately, playing with the portal a little bit, but neither side necessarily positioning themselves well, as the open primary from Kazan will just completely disallow Thieftain from using that flip. The Tofu Fortress not getting it past him. Makoda secondary there, though, as Kazan's trying to mix up General Umbre there. Almost gets it past him as well, but Thieftain was positioned correctly to defend it. The piercing shot not finding the core, as the grand finish will come out from the Finny there. And the somersault coming through. Teidu's just respecting that area so much. The strike, miss-strike! And that's so easy. He sends it the wrong way. The Mako ultimate is going to be there and defend it away. And now the Shuyu on in a 1v1 again. Crooked Leverage not finding the core there, as the piercing shot also goes way past it, and the attacks building again. The Dubu close, and that's a danger, right? You're thinking the Dubu roll, it's gonna stop sometimes soon, right? Surely I can just step away from it. I can step to the back of it. Yeah, no, not the case. Not the case. That Dubu roll is gonna, that's essentially an Amy dash at this point, just a lot slower.
Dubu dashed a long way.
So no, the strike not finding the right angle there. Norm's Friday finding a goal in the set, but in the grand scheme of things, obviously Keep the Flip still very much a point up. The side of Norm's Friday has a lot of flips available for themselves that they can be playing with if they wish to. We'll see how much you're going to be greeting them, though, because you want to use those flips early, you know, to get the guaranteed value out of them, to get these barriers and these goals. Because if you're holding on too long for them, maybe the side of Keep the Flip will be finding their barriers and even the point before you can get use of it. But both flips used there, you do get a kill with it in the end, but still not a single barrier dropped, and in 5 seconds the Shuyu is going to be back on the field, which is really not great for the side of Norm's Friday, as they find one barrier finally, but they still need to get the second one. Flip available, and Silvio will use it as well immediately as the angle comes out. The Shuyu finding that nice angle flip coming out from General Umbre, almost losing the barrier, but the strike interactions are being cleaned from both sides. As the Mako will send it through portal, but General Umbre there to respond. The Finny triple take will be there. The Mako ultimate coming out as well now. Passing play coming through as it finds its way back to not so easy. And the strike interaction win. The somersault gets it out as well. And the KO now in favor of Keep the Flip. The Finny ultimate coming through. And unfortunately, Teidu is taking a little bit too close of a step to it. Finny ultimate being a little bit more wacky to defend against and getting punished for that misstep.
Unfortunate there, going to 2-2 for set 3. Really nice for the side of Norms, getting back into it, right? We were saying it is about to be a 6-0 in 2 sets, but they have come back, and that is a horrendous corner.
To be honest, if I am the side of Keep the Flip, I'm happy that just only took one barrier. And you can kind of see it as well. It's a little bit difficult for Teidus to play this out properly, because not only are you playing into a Dubu, which is, for most people, not really a matchup you're experienced with, I believe they're also playing from a laptop in an Airbnb. So also not in their own usual setup to be playing a game in, which makes it a lot more difficult, and probably is also the reason why sometimes it might look a little bit silly like that, right? The really great Finny ultimate will find the angle and get past Teidus there, and that puts him now in 1 set in the lead for Norm's Friday. And again, it feels weird, because I feel like Keep the Flip has been a bit more solid in the way that they're playing this out, but the results are speaking for Norm's Friday, and they're going to be rewarded with this draft. Finny possibly picking up a missile prop, a glass. Twin Drive's not bad either. Adrenaline Rush could be good. Adrenaline Rush actually finding its way onto the shoe there as Twin Drive gets picked up for Finny. Obviously a great awakening size for Dubu. It's going to be quite valuable as well, as we're going to get a 1-2 punch for Estelle and a glass cannon for the Mako, which again, all kind of just makes sense. And it just kind of adds a lot more damage into this game and a lot more KO potential for both sides. So we'll see who's going to be able to leverage that more in this game.
There's 2 things I'm afraid of. The first thing is Dubu long roll. The second thing is any Kazan that has Adrenaline Rush.
I don't think you need to worry about the Kazan Adrenaline Rush if the HP bar is just being taken out completely. The team player there actually activating and getting that angle, really well played by Teidus, as now the attack is going to be built again. Shuyu's just trying to get involved there, trying to fish for these edge KOs, but not able to find them, as again, Tofu Fortress into Finny ultimate, just so impossible to defend against. Flip coming out from not so easy there as well. Silvio not covering that bottom corner properly, and another point for the side of Norm's Friday. And if the momentum keeps going the way it currently is, Norm's Friday are looking at a Game 2 victory and a confirmed spot at making it into the bracket stage today.
We're gonna see greatness if that actually happens. Double Dubu, double win. What more can you want? Like, it is the perfect day. Dubu forward, double win.
Game's not over just yet though, because Keep the Flip, they are fighting, right? Obviously a lot of damage again, finding itself onto Shuya there as he gets sent flying by the Dubu. Flip coming out from Teidus, and Keep the Flip playing a lot more on the defensive side now, as they're trying to get themselves an attack going, but it's just a bit difficult as the Shu is just being farmed, and the Julie ultimate will find to confirm there. Obviously, together with that extra special pickup for her as well, it's going to be so much more effective, as Not So Easy is not able to set themselves up properly to be reacting to that situation. And the triple take from Finny will secure it. Tough angle to be clearing from, and Norm's Friday now only one goal away from taking another victory.
Can we talk about the fact that Finny is a funny character? I think that's the fourth time a perfectly placed secondary or ult has given them the goal, and I honestly respect it.
Yeah, I mean, Finny just has a lot of tools to yeah, like she has a lot of tools to be interacting with Core, even though you think of her more as a damage character due to her nature, right? She can control quite a bit. It's also why she was so good for a certain period of time in the net, because she just had abilities so often to just stop Core completely. But a beautiful play there from Keep the Flip will actually almost get the goal, but I guess they'll have to do with an Adrenaline Rush proc for the Kazan. And they do find the goal, and I mean, it's now or never, right? You find yourself 2 more goals in this set and you're playing for a set 5, or you're gonna go into 1-1 and not guaranteeing yourself a place in this bracket stage.
All I'm seeing are opportunities.
Yeah, opportunities.
The question is who's gonna grasp theirs.
Yeah, I mean, one barrier already down on the side of Norm's Friday, so again, it would look quite good here as the strike interactions are being won for them as well. The barrier not dropping yet. The Mako ultimate sending it flying. The Juliet ultimate there to secure it, and the Flip actually gets a KO. But again, you have a lot of abilities left over on the side of Keep the Flip to hold down this barrier. Teidus has a Flip as well. Will need to use it here. The Tofu Fortress actually not allowing the Dubu to walk where he wants to. For Tei, it would have actually been safer to just not strike that core and just wait it out. But unfortunately, the strike does come through, and now both barriers down. Norms are trying to find themselves a victory here. They're trying to set themselves up. Not so easy, doing a good setup there, but a great defense from Teidus will set the core out, as the Shuyu is going to be taking again a lot of damage here. A lot of danger to be playing through. The Flip comes out, not finding the goal or an attack, but again, Thiefton and Not So Easy on the attack on both sides. Kazan taking a lot of damage, and the Double Look finds it because Teidus, again, likely related to setup, not able to find that strike, and Norm's Friday putting themselves 2-0 up and confirming themselves a spot in the bracket stage for today.
Incredible. Not the way you wanted to end.
Yeah, and I feel like that's been both of these games so far that we've seen from Norm's Friday. It just boils down to like one singular interaction that just kind of feels bad, right? And in the end, it was just a bit too much for the side of Keep the Flip to handle, to properly react to, as Norm's Friday find themselves a victory with an unlikely team comp. But, I mean, they've also been playing it out well as well. And again, it's not over for Keep the Flip. They have a 3rd round to be playing through, and if they win that one, they are putting themselves into the bracket stage, or potentially directly to final selection already. on the other side of the bracket. We'll have to see. It was a victory for the Kneecappers, so it's going to be Kneecappers 1-1, Teen Enjoyers 0-2, and keep the flip 1-1, with Norm's Friday being 2-0 now. So we'll see how that's going to come into play. Emak, do you have any closing remarks before we're going to go into a small little break again to make sure round 3 is going to go smoothly?
I mean, looking at the game, it was 9 goals against 8, so actually really close. It did feel like that as well. However, in the end, only one team can win, right? And I feel like Norms was the team that just played their team comp a bit better, with Dubu going into the corner, just keeping the core there, getting the barriers, and then Fili using her abilities to both damage and control the core. Went pretty well, I would say.
Yeah, most definitely. But if my eyes do not deceive me, by the way, I'm pretty certain our next game is going to be keep the flip against Kneecappers, because both of these teams are now 1-1. Both of these teams haven't met up against each other yet, so that would likely be the qualification series for who makes it through into the bracket stage. And with that being how the Swiss stage plays out as well, the actual bracket stage will fall away. So if I'm not being completely stupid here, I believe that side of Norm's Friday have now locked themselves for the final selection. But we'll see if that's going to be the case, or if I'm just yapping in just a little bit, as we're going to go into a small little break. We'll be right back. And we are back, and I didn't yap for fun. Norm's Friday have made it into the final selection because the way that the bracket is played out, we didn't have to deal with any funky little tiebreakers or anything. We will just have two teams that are going to have more than 2 wins today, and the side of Norm's Friday, with their last victory, have secured themselves the spots in that final selection. The last spots to be given out to be joining the 3 teams that have now made their way in is going to be played for in this game right here. Keep the Flip against Kneecappers. We've seen both of them already play today, and both of them are 1-1. So whoever wins this game is going to be making it into the final selection. Do you have any predictions from your side, Imak?
Yes.
Would you like to share?
Who said I'm gonna say them?
Yeah.
No, my prediction is gonna be that this is going to be a 4-set series. There's one team that's gonna win 2 sets really closely. Then the other team is gonna win 1 set like really decisively. And then the last set they win really closely again, but they make it. I don't want to say which team because I have no idea. But that's the vibe I'm feeling.
You just don't want to be responsible in case that team loses, you know?
No, that's just the vibe I'm getting from the game. If you want, we can go with the Kneecappers.
It is. I mean, we'll see. We'll see. We do have the Kneecappers now back. They are playing the same comp we've seen them play earlier. It's an Orb Replicator Fight or Flight start against a similar comp for the side of Keep the Flip as well. The Shoe actually on the Juliet pick here, and he does shine on that pick whenever he gets the right awakenings and the right opportunity, so we'll see if it's going to come into play. And obviously, we're also, I forgot to mention, we're on AtLab. We get a little bit of AtLab action on the Clarion Corp trials. Obviously, Europe's like most beloved map, I'd say. It's like AtLab first, then Tycho, and then probably Clarion after it. So everyone should be having a home court advantage this time around. As again, as we see with a lot of AtLab games, 1 barrier down on both sides. With a nice mix-up there from the Kneecap Saint, though, will actually secure themselves a barrier and a goal. Yeah, not a valid clear to be found there for TaeDeus, and Kneecap Bender with the pressure gonna be doing enough there to actually get it in. Juno on this map also, I'd say one of the stronger picks, for sure.
I mean, there's a reason people lose to AI.
The Blubbles are good, man. Like I'm pretty certain I probably lost a Blubber interaction in USL already. So
one,
multiple.
Every single set there's a Juno on the enemy team. You'll lose to AI eventually.
Listen, there might be a reason why I'm starting to play her in net. Beautiful flip from TaeDeus there, actually. We'll get a double barrier. Flip answered by Kneecap Saint, which puts us into even playing field. The strike not connecting, and the goal not being found yet for the side of the Kneecappers, as now the Shiyu in a 1v1 on a Julie would be quite advantageous, and does this played well. Kneecap Factory there not finding the right angle to be playing it through, and it goes directly into the dash punch, evening out the set. And I'm liking what I'm seeing so far. It's looking competitive. I do feel like the Kneecappers are a little bit more solid in the way that they're playing it out, but that in no way really means that they're going to be finding the win here. But if you get 2 barriers down like that, you're obviously going to be favored, as well as Shuyu has a flip available on this Juliet. Silvio trying to carry the core upfield, but gets denied by the Kai. I feel like it's also a bit of a case that the Kneecappers just have a much easier comp to execute than Keep the Flip, so we'll have to see if that's going to be the difference maker or not, as the Kneecappers will put themselves into a 1-goal advantage in this first set.
Yeah, it is about what I said, right? First set is close. Looking like we're getting probably to a goal to a 5th goal situation.
Ooh,
nice defense, nice kill.
That is a huge play for the side of Keep the Flip there. Has a power play going for themselves now. The Julie ultimate coming through, but a nice barrage will actually stop it. The Flip coming out as well to completely disable that attack, which kind of renders the power play for the side of Keep the Flip useless. But even then, you did get that barrier to keep it alive a little bit more. The blob interaction will take it off their hands in the end. as Teidus is going to try to hold on to this. The Mako ultimate will catch the core. Kneecap Saint still trying to get the attack going, as the Shuyu is taking a lot of damage here, actually, and gets the Orb denied as well. Going to be difficult to do anything, as the dash will come through and find the KO there, and almost has to use the flip there, Teidus, but is going to be able to save it, as an own barrier take by Kneecap Saint is going to get this negative power play, but Kneecap Vendor finds the top angle. Teidus not able to react and move all the way up there. The goal going to be found for the Kneecappers here.
Unfortunate there on the side of keep the flip. However, looking at those awakenings, I see explosive entrance for Zentaro. I see aerials or hotshot deny for Mako. Actually didn't see the hotshot deny.
Yeah.
Still probably.
This is such a rough draft, because like if you're the side of keep the flip, this is such a rough draft, because Centauro gets his dash awakening, which is such a good awakening for himself. You have to deny the hotshot, which, I mean, it's not a bad awakening for Mako, but you don't want to be taking it if you have an aerials on the field. Juno had the opportunity to go 1-2 punch here, opted for the aerials. The dash range obviously still being incredibly valuable on the pickup, but the 1-2 punch also there would have been a bit of an issue, especially because they would have denied it off of Juliet. But apparently it doesn't matter, because Kneecap Saint just punishes it. An evade through the dash punch, and obviously after a Juliet dash punch, Juliet's going to be next to the edge. So just a clean little primary will get the KO, but the power play is a negative one for the side of the Kneecappers as they lose a barrier. And almost a KO there. The core does go red there, gets a second barrier off, as now keep the flip again, trying to find their momentum here. The Mako ultimate will, secondary will help with that movement speed a little bit, but will not be enough. The flip coming up from Kneecap Saint, trying to find an angle there as it bounces around, but the defense still holding strong from the side of keep the flip. A good clear from Teidus will get it up. Nothing that can interrupt that core, as Juliet's gonna be up front with the core. No, it does get taken away by Juliet, the Juno aerials jump. Just such a good awakening to be getting that extra jump range for Juno, as flip comes out just in time, but a nice strike shot from the Kneecap Factory will still hold on to the goal for now.
And a really nice Juliet ult there, catching it before it can be cleared, and then obviously strike on cooldown gets the goal. Also something they want right now. They're one set behind, obviously one set. Not that much, you know. However, you're behind.
Yeah, and you very much see that they're wanting to make their way back into it, as a double barrier gets found pretty swiftly there. Silvio with the flip as well almost gets the goal in, and the core still not finding the barrier. The bubble will find one of them now. But again, Teidu's still holding on to one of these barriers on the Mako. It's going to be able to hold this quite a while, as the strikes are going to find their way into the attack. But again, no barrier found yet. The Blobble gets denied as well. Almost a KO there from the Shuyu there, as the flip doesn't find the KO the way that he was intending it to. Open goals on both sides now, but Juliet's going to be able to set up in front of the goal. It gets striked away by the Kneecap Factory. The piercing shot coming out as well. Kai has a flip available, but doesn't have to use it just yet, as the attack's going to be building, and the aerial's not going to hit the core there. Sylvia winning these strike interactions, and a beautiful dash punch there, and also more crucially, a dash first to confirm that you get a core connection, and then the punch at a different angle at a later point is going to push it through Kneecap Factory. That flip had to come out so much earlier to defend that.
Keep flip for next goal. Trust.
Yeah, we'll have to see if there's even gonna be a next goal though, because again, keep the flip playing it out really well right now. The flip used from Kneecap Saint also not finding the value that they were looking for, as the Julie ultimate's gonna send Kneecap Vendor flying. Not any evades available for either of the forwards, which means the Shu could be just kind of looking for these edge KOs. A nice strike again, gets it around the flip, another dash punch coming through, but the Giga Blast gonna be there. So crucial that you get that, as the Shu is gonna be put low. It's gonna be able to pick up these orbs though and stay alive. Crucially, not be staggered, because I believe Kneecap Saint does have an ultimate. We'll use it here. The KO not being found, but Silvio gets a barrier, and the dash from Julie actually to get out of the Zentaro dash. So crucial to stay alive. Julie has the flip up front, so keep the flip. We're just gonna try to send the score up and allow him to secure the goal for them. It does go into the corner. The flip comes out, but doesn't find the pressure. But again, Teidus and Silvio have a flip of their own, and Silvio gonna be able to use that soon. Flip coming out from Teidus, not finding the core there. Barrier now does drop. Flip coming out, and the beautiful punch there, not stunning Kneecap Factory, but mixing up their timing as keep the flip come through with a convincing 3-0 set, and they're gonna be rewarded with a Juliet first pick. And obviously Juliet has quite a few interesting abilities to be picking up. There's an Adrenaline Rush, there's a Bulk Up, there's stacks, there's a lot of high value. It's going to come down to playstyle preferences for the Shu here, what they're going to go for.
Looking at last set, I could still be correct, just that set 2 and 3 are swapped, right? Because we saw a pretty even set 1. Now we have a 3-0. If next one is gonna be won by kneecappers by the skin of their teeth, then I'm still balling with my prediction.
We'll see how it's gonna pan out. Kneecap Saint also went for the Spark pickup, even I do believe that some Sparks have already gone through. The prime time for Kneecap Factory gonna be quite a strong tool, obviously. Barrage, such a strong ability for the Kai. But I feel like the Adrenaline Rush for the Shu can be the make or break here if he does find these KOs. But as of right now, it's having a pretty difficult time to do so. And I immediately cursed it. Kneecap Factory there, being a bit too close to the edge, and a singular punch will do it. Now keep the flip trying to get this goal in, and beautiful strike interactions for the Shu to actually get it past the defense there. Forwards in the net are not quite as effective as a goalie, and obviously going to be difficult to be defending with your goalie if they're off the map completely. 1-0 lead for Keep the Flip here in this third set.
We are, in fact, currently living in the Juliet dimension.
A lot of damage finding its way onto everyone here, and I was eyeing that one, yeah. Because there was no evades on the Centauro, and I saw the Shu trying to walk up for it, but not quite enough power to actually get it. We'll get it now, though. These dash punches coming through continuously, and that's going to put him into a power play situation. The Shu's still going to have to be a bit careful here as they are low, but a flip from Silvio in front of the net will not do it. Kneecap Factory down to 1 HP, though, and not taken out because the strike interactions, again, just being won by the Shu playing it out so well right now. Also, I was a bit curious how the Shu even had a dash punch again. I forget fight or flight. So funnily enough, the kneecappers actually ended up taking themselves out by staggering the Juliet there.
Insanity. I think that's the first time I've thought about the secondary reset while getting staggered yourself on fight or flight.
Yeah, because you usually just never have a situation where that's really coming into play like that, especially if you're on a Julie, right? But it did come through this time around, and Kneecapper's still very much trying to fight back, trying to find their angles of attack here to get both barriers down. Kneecap Ender has a flip here, and now it's going to turn into a question of when are you using it, right? Because now you used it early, you didn't get the result you wanted with it. There's also a way where you maybe greed it a little bit more. Try to be like, yeah, no, we have such a huge advantage right now, we'll find the goal without having to use it. It does come through in the end, and they do find the goal for themselves, but now that energy bar is going to be quite low on the Juno, and if you do not have that secondary to jump away, you're going to be a prime target for the Shu's dash punches.
But we also can't forget the side of Kneecappers has 2 flips, the sides of Keep the Flip has no flip.
I was about to say, but one side doesn't have a Juno anymore, but no, it does not find the KO, but the defense still holding on, and both of these flips now gone, which actually puts the energy advantage into the hands of Keep the Flip. A nice piercing shot secures that second barrier as well, as now Keep the Flip are trying to hold on to their barriers. Teidus again finds these clears so nicely, gets him around the forwards and just sets themselves up. Again, one barrier is down, but again, who cares about one barrier when you do have a second one still alive, essentially, but the attack still going. Piercing shot not connecting with the core. The Shu trying to set up for potentially securing it with a dash punch here. The punch coming through as well. A lot of damage onto Sylvia. Sylvia has a flip, so looking to probably just farm that out for the Estelle to make sure they have that for the attack. The nice dash will confirm that one, and a beautiful mix-up. Another situation where Kneecap Factory just barrages a little bit off position, and the core just goes directly through the player character, not into the barrage, and Keep the Flip now with the momentum finding another set victory and getting rewarded with a few interesting pickups here. Twin Drive, Deadeye, Super Surge, Peak Performance, also a valid pickup. Who got Bulk Up last time around? It was the Juno, so it does make sense to pick that away.
Yeah, looking at the awakenings that are open, I kind of would love to see another cross-country Zantaro dash, like we saw the Dubu last round. Super Surge getting denied though. How sad. Gets the spark, the second one for Spark of Leadership, however. So a little bit more power on the side of kneecappers never hurts. Except, well, actually it does hurt. But you know what I mean.
It hurts the other team. But we'll have to see if it's gonna come into play. I mean, it evidently does because the shoe's just being taken out. Nice passing play there as well. Will secure that barrier. The Super Surge for Tedu is still gonna be incredibly valuable though, because Mako is so strong with these speed enhancing abilities, and especially if you have a forward like a Julie that's a little bit more immobile, you really love having that enabling potential there, right? Just saying, you know what, you're just going to be running at Mach 5 now, and the enemy's just going to have to find a way to deal with it. So we'll see if it's going to come into play. 1 barrier, 2 barriers, Juliet with a bit of extra sides as well, obviously. Gonna get that better hitbox for the dash punches, as the Juno bubbles will not find the bottom barrier. Maybe find the top one. No, Silvio's still there and still finding these strikes. Silvio doing so well to help on the defensive end here for Teidus, obviously on a map like Atlab, and a dash punch completely locks them out. Kneecap Factory potentially could have ran up to it. Kneecap Vendor potentially could have jumped into it, but both of them just get stunned by the Shu. The Shu is playing so well right now.
Juliet Connoisseur.
What an angle.
Love to see it.
Yeah, the Atlas Black Hole play there as well. A lot of energy onto the Shu. Is going to have to waste some of it. Well, not waste it, but use some of it to stay alive. So the flip not coming up for him anytime soon. Estelle, though, close to a flip themselves now to get a second barrier pretty swiftly. Keep the flipper just looking to close this out as soon as they can. Not waste any more time. Not let anyone scale any further. They're 2 goals away from securing themselves in the final selection. And with a nice flip into Juliet ultimate combination, they get the goal. Nothing you can do about that defensively. They're a bit difficult to handle, and now they're 1 away from winning this game and putting themselves in the final selection.
Match point. Maybe. The kneecappers no longer have kneecaps.
The kneecaps
the
getting
factory
kneecapped.
has run dry.
The vendors running out of stock, the factory running dry, and the Saints losing their faith as we're now going into another attack for the side of Keep the Flip. Dash Punch not finding the KO, but 1 barrier out now as the attack again is just starting to be built up again. Tedu still holding on the defensive end, gets a nice strike there. Keep the Saint not able to find that strike through them, even though they did get the stun. It's an open net situation, and Tedu's not able to walk up in time. The Vendor and Saint finding themselves that angle, and now are 1 goal away from forcing a set 5. And again, it's a do or die situation for them. If you do not find this next goal and Keep the Flip finds it, then your Clarion Corp Trial Season 2, just your second season just finished here. So you need to do everything in your power to do that. And they're looking to do exactly just that, as they're getting 1 barrier here. Can they get the second one? Not yet. Almost there though. Teidus is gonna be ready for it.
I can feel how tense it is for both of these teams, honestly.
Yeah, I saw that KO with the dash punch. The Shu just being so aware of it, just punishing that positioning as 1 barrier still holding on the side of the kneecappers. They're going to try to hold on to this. They're going to try to keep themselves alive in this. The punch coming through, but not getting the barrier. The defense still holding strong, but Silvio has a flip. Will use it here immediately. The barrier does drop. Juliet down to low HP. Kneecap Saint not able to connect it. The flip coming out. The angle there. The Juno blob is coming through, but the defense still holding on. Silvio holding it. The Shu now on the power play. The Black Hole will get the KO. What a KO, as Silvio is now trying to set up. Factory's going to be disrupting it with the barrage. The attack's still being alive, though. Silvio, with all this movement speed, is going to be able to continuously hold up the core, and the ultimate's going to be enough. Keep the Flip, find themselves a goal. They're not wanting to go to a set 5. They find themselves a victory, and with that, they find themselves in the final selection. After having so many good games in the first selection, in the second selection, finally Retribution has come and they make it through.
Who needs mad advantage when you have an Estelle?
And then Estelle with fight or flight, with Mako D speed up in the back. With, I don't know how much movement speed, but obviously Silvio just leveraged that so well. But I still want to shout out my personal MVP for this game, which was the Shu. That the KOs don't really represent it. It felt like it was more than 4, but just the continuous pressure for those KOs and the good and strong pushes that come through just kind of gave Keep the Flip what they needed in the end here. And yeah, I mean, Kneecappers, not a bad performance at all. I feel like in the end, they just kind of got outdone by the consistency of Juliet and Silvio up front. Just being so clinical about getting these barriers, and Teidus as well, holding it down in the back there. Having some more funny moments related to setup likely, but it was more than enough to make their way into this final selection. It got a bit spicy for them, which I probably would have wanted to avoid, but it still was enough.
Setup nerf is not enough. They kept the flip and are now officially in. Congratulations also from my side. Kneecappers did try, but as Sloth was saying before, the vendor has run out of stock, the factory stopped producing, and the Saint no longer has faith in the kneecaps.
No faith in the kneecaps.
Insane.
Yeah.
that was bars, man.
Yeah, wish it could have actually helped them, but unfortunately it wasn't enough. But with that, yeah, as there were 4 teams for the Clarion Corp trials this time around, we do not have a bracket stage to be broadcasting, so this is where it's going to close it out for today. In regards of the Clarion Corp trials, we will look into potential adjustments on format. Obviously, for everyone here as well, player interest is what is going to be driving an event like that, and if availabilities are a bit tough, we might have to find ways to suit it a little better. But obviously we're here to stay, we're here to continue doing it, and if your team didn't make it this time, I'm very willing and interested in making it a 3rd season of this as well. It's going to have to be a question as well, but for now, the heroes of this season are going to be the following 4 teams. Obviously, the 2 teams from the first selection that have qualified, which are the Baguette Boys and Smoking Lucio, that were waiting for who they're going to be meeting in the final selection. They're going to be there, and today 2 more teams have joined them, and that is Keep the Flip and Norms Friday or something. They can maybe, I'll just call them Norms Friday. So those are the 4 teams that are going to be in the final selection. Those are the 4 teams that are going to be fighting for the title of the 2nd season of the Clarion Corp trial. So do stay tuned, as that information is going to be flowing to all of you when that is going to go live and happen. So again, and also thank you, Imac, for joining up today and helping me with the cast on such short notice. It's very much appreciated. Very happy to have you here. Hope you enjoyed it yourself. Do you have any closing words before we're going to send it over to, well, probably someone else at Streaming OS?
Gaming
indeed.
That's it. That's all.
An Immaculator Orb. He be thriving.
The Immaculator Orb, moisturized, in my lane, focused.
Alright. Well, with that, we're going to be going off. Thank you for being here. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and we'll see you guys around for the final selection. Bye-bye.